Yes. Hello.
Oh, it's daylight. Oh, night long. Such a beautiful morning. Can't get any better than that. I'm just living the dream right here, baby.
Going down to the old Mississippi. Water's going up, swimming. Going down Bear Street, dancing and singing. All girls are bound to die.
What are we doing to this sucker?
We are taking the tranny out.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, we're gonna drop this thing, wrap it, stack it, and get it out.
Going down Bear Street, dancing and singing.
Did you move that line if it's caught? I got it too. No, there's one up ahead too.
I know, it popped us.
In the barrel.
Come on down.
Good job.
Pulling the transmission was just the start. This truck was originally built by Coleman Racing. They built this truck for a client, but recently they had an opportunity to purchase it back. The truck was built 20 years ago, so it was in need of a few upgrades. Since they were furiously working on their race truck, they brought this one to us. We tore apart the front suspension and replaced the rubber I-beam pivot bushings with uniball bearings. These uniballs tighten up the front end. They last a lot longer and they take a lot more of a beating than the stock rubber. We upgraded axle U-joints, re-geared the front differential, and gave her new hubs, brake pads, and rotors. All the pivots got grade 8 5/8 bolts cut to length. The old radius arms had the old stock style pin and rubber bushing. We converted them to a Heim joint bearing. These are stronger, they're tighter, and they let the front end swing out a lot easier. Old style bushing pivot, new style Heim joint pivot. These radius arms have been white for 20 years, so we thought black was a nice change up. Here we have the tire at full bump, up inside the stock fender. Now in off-road racing, you have to cycle the suspension through all of its travel to make sure nothing crashes. Now these stock fenders are clearing, but just barely. Now these are radius arm pivot brackets before they are radius arm pivot brackets. We make templates out of template paper, and then we trace it onto the metal to make the real thing. Pivot bracket's done. Just need to paint it, and then we can put the front end back together. What's so cool about this truck is that it looks like a stock F-150 from the outside. It's got stock bumpers and stock fenders, but you get underneath, it's a full-blown race truck.
If you're going down to the old
We're gonna put some more bend in this, make Tim happy. Do everything the right way. These tie rods are chromoly, and chromoly's got a real nice look to it when it's bare metal, so we're taking it down to bare metal. Now we're gonna clear coat them. Now we're gonna coat it with this fine crystal clear enamel.
Good.
Estonium. Perfect. Crystal clear enamel.
Very expensive wind chimes. The most expensive wind chimes in San Diego.
we've completed the single relay steering system on this F-150, and it's a single relay system because of this relay arm here, and what that does is it relays the steering from the steering box through the relay arm down to this tire, and then this one is normal going down to that one. On a stock setup, this tie rod is hooked up to this one right here. What that does is this swings in a different arc than the beam does. So when they swing in different arcs, this changes length and actually pulls this tire in and out when you go through a lot of travel like this truck does. So that gives you bump steer. This eliminates that by putting the pivot of the steering tie rod the same pivot as the beam. So they swing in the same arc, thusly getting rid of any bump steer outside here at the tire. And we made these tie rods out of, it's actually 318, that's 300 thousandths thick wall tubing. So very thick tie rods, very strong, 5/8 bolts on everything, grade 8 hardware, 3/4 inch heims. And now we just set the toe and put her on the ground and she's ready to go. Thusly. Your safety wire bolts. This is on the rear end, and what you do is you tie two bolt heads together in such a way where they pull on each other, preventing either one from coming loose. After the front, we started to work on the rear, got new brake rotors, brake pads, and then we started to relocate the spare tire in the back. It used to stand up, blocking the view out the back window.
Well, tell us a little bit about how this happened, Tim.
That would be because there was a lot of stress on that tube that was undetectable through the paint. Never buried a bit like that. That's pretty good. I'm impressed.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After 20 years in the dirt, this truck looked pretty good. The rear cage had a bunch of nicks and scratches though, so since the suspension looked so good, we had to freshen up the back.
Bro, daddy. Bro, daddy Chip.
We tried to clean up as much as we could with the new paint, got that new transmission and transfer case back in, all fresh with new drive shafts, axles, gears. This thing is done.